Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another video, and today we're going to be trying out something a little bit different. But before that, I quickly just want to show you guys that I went ahead and attached my full cover tips, and I applied a thin layer of black gel and some matte top coat, and I'm really loving how they're looking at this point. So let's quickly talk about what I'm going to be doing today. This technique is called retro chrome lettering. I might be getting it wrong because everywhere I looked for the description it was kind of different, but Pinterest came in clutch with such great examples of this technique, and these are the examples I managed to pull off of there. Really cool, you guys. As you can see, there is an array of different colors you can choose. I'm a little bit nervous because this is a technique I've never tried before, so let's just get into it and hope for the best, you guys. So let's go. First things first, I'm going in with a liner brush. I received this one from Born Pretty. I really liked it because it's dual ended. I'm also going in with just some pure white gel polish, nothing special. And the first thing I'm doing is marking how big I want the letters to be. Now, I went through such a long process trying to decide which 4-letter word I wanted to use, and I eventually just decided to use the word rock star, just R-O-C-K on the 4 letters, and then the star on the thumbnail. So now I'm going in and starting with the letter R, and I'm just marking out first how I want the letter to look, making sure that it is straight and making sure that I'm happy with the placement. Now, as I mentioned before, I haven't tried this technique before, but one thing I came into this whole challenge knowing is that I've got a steady hand, and that's about it. So I'm going in, making those lines, making sure that they are nice and neat. And man, this was hard to do. I underestimated how hard it is to do this, especially freehand. Immediately when I was done with outlining, I went ahead and filled in the letter. As you guys can see, I was still not happy with how it was looking. It kind of reminded me of the Among Us characters. Remember that game that was really popular, and the characters had like a huge round face? It kind of like reminded me of that, and no matter how much I tried to unsee it, I just couldn't unsee it. So I kind of just had to be okay with it. Off camera, I went ahead and did the rest of the letters, the O, C and the K, and also went ahead and did the star. Surprisingly, it wasn't as hard to do the star as it was the rest of the letters. As you can see, this is how the R is looking. This is how the O is looking at this point. The C was really easy to do, and then finally the letter K was also not as hard as I thought it was going to be. And then, as I mentioned, the star also wasn't as hard to do at all. So I was really happy with how everything was looking at this point. It wasn't as bad. So this is the next day, and I had to pop the nails off, you guys. I had some errands to run. I couldn't walk around with an uncompleted nail set, so I quickly took the nails off and popped them on my nail stand. And this was the first time I was using the nail stand. I don't know why, I've never used it. It was just such a pleasure, and it allowed me to maneuver the nail in different angles, and this is how the nails were looking at this point. And as you can see, I did the rest of the nails and the star off camera, and then because I just wanted to make sure that I'm getting the technique right, so that by the time I do it I can explain it better to you guys. So we're gonna do the letter K together. Now I quickly want to show you guys the colors that I am working with. I've got some black gel, I've I've got some blue gel, some purple, some white, some orange, some browns, and I also have a little bit of like a maroon, like dark reddish color over there. Now I know it looks like a hot mess, but it kind of makes sense in my head, so I didn't want to clean it up, you guys. I just wanted to show you how, you know, how it really looks. Now first things first, I'm going in with the black gel and I'm applying this right at the top of the letter K, just to briefly show you guys the picture that I'm using as inspiration. It is this one over here, and this is from NRW Gaming. I got this from Pinterest. Something about the colors in this particular design really spoke to me, and I drew inspiration from that. So right after I applied the black gel, I'm going in right underneath that with the dark purple. Now I do want to mention to you guys at this point that throughout the process of doing this, I do not cure the gel at all. I found that if you don't cure in between, the gels kind of smoosh together very well and they create a beautiful radiant. So I know it's hard to see the black and the purple because they're very close to each other, but right under the purple I go in with the darker blue. The colors just kind of bleed into each other, and I'm also going in with my eyeliner brush. As you guys can see, I'm kind of mixing the three colors, trying to ombre them. If you have an ombre brush, that will also be really cool. So I make sure that everything aligns. I go ahead and pop the letter back onto the nail stand just to make sure that I am still that everything is aligned. I don't know if that makes, yeah, just to make sure that everything is aligned and everything is symmetrical. I hope that makes sense. And so now I'm going back in. Still I haven't cured the nail at this point. Now when I actually thought about this is basically a landscape. The blues and the blacks are pretty much the sky. At this point I'm kind of doing the mountains. I'm sure you guys can see they're kind of pointy and they run across the letter, and I'm really trying to, you don't really have to paint in a lot of detail, but you just kind of make like triangle sharp points. That way it kind of reads like it is a mountain. It doesn't have to be perfect. As you can see, it's a very thin line, and then I go ahead and with my liner brush and I'm kind of blending the colors down, as you can see, but please make sure that they do not touch the black gel or basically the mountains, because remember everything is still wet, and if that blue touches the black gel, it will kind of just bleed into each other and makes, yeah, it will just look like a mess. Now I'm going in with the orange gel and I'm tucking that right underneath that black gel, and if these two colors touch, it's completely fine because the orange is kind of representing the terrain, like it's sand or the soil basically. I hope that makes sense. And as you guys can see, I'm ombreing this down. And then I flip the nail upside down, and then I start the bottom with just pure white gel, and then I ombre into the orange. So I wanted the orange kind of has like a gradient effect. Now again, I want to mention I haven't cured the nail at all at this point. Everything is still wet, and if you look at the top there, the colors are really just like getting to know each other and just coming together and creating a beautiful gradient. Now I went ahead and cured the nail for 60 seconds at this point, and immediately now I'm going in with that maroon color, and as you can see, the maroon, I'm tucking it right underneath that black mountain vibes, and this is what creates such a beautiful like rich orange reddish kind of look. And I loved this. This probably was my favorite part about this whole design, and I just felt like it brought such a nice element to the entire design. So I went ahead and popped it back onto the nail stand just to make sure that everything is cohesive and that everything aligns and that everything makes sense basically to the eye. And then I went ahead and just went in with the white gel and I started outlining the letter. Now you guys, this is where my skill level was I had just reached my capacity when it comes to the level of skill I have. You just had to make the letter kind of look 3D-ish, and that's what really makes it chromy, makes it look like it's popping off of the nail. I couldn't do it. I tried so hard, and as you can see, I would do the white lines and it would mess up. So I just, I did my best at this point. So I definitely would love to revisit this technique and really pay a lot of attention when it comes to making it look more 3D. Now I'm going back in with the white gel and I'm creating the bright spark that is on top of all the letters, and I just went in with a simple 4-point star, and then from there I created some tiny little other wispies in between just to give it, more of like a bright look, also just to make it look like it's like sparkling. I don't know if that makes sense. So I went ahead and did that, and once I was done with that, I went ahead and cured in my lamp for another 60 seconds. After I was done with that, I went in around the perimeter of the nail with some black gel, just correcting any mistakes because I really wanted these nails to be really black. So I went ahead and corrected around the nail with some black gel polish. Now I'm going in with the BTArtbox top coat. I really like this one because it has a more thicker consistency, which is awesome when you are working with nail art. So I'm applying a generous amount, as you guys can see, making sure that it is nice and level throughout the entire surface of the nail. And then when I'm done, I flip the nail upside down, just allowing gravity to pull the gel sort of like in towards the center of the nail, and then I cure in my lamp for 60 seconds. Now I went off camera and I buffed the rest of the nails just to remove any bumps and lumps that might be there, especially because I was working with a lot of gel, you guys. And again, I wanted, when I do the final top coat, for the surface to be really nice and smooth. At this point, I'm going in with just a little bit of acetone on my brush. I'm just making sure that the surface is nice and smooth, that there aren't any tiny dust particles that might get onto my top coat. And then once I'm done with that, now I'm going in and applying top coat on all the nails, and I did a nice little close-up for you guys because it was just so satisfying doing the top coat on these. Now after I was done with the top coat, I went ahead and cured in my lamp for 60 seconds, and then I went ahead and popped the nails onto my nails, and this is the final look, you guys. I really am chuffed at how they turn out. There are definitely elements and spots that could have been better, and like I mentioned before, I definitely want to revisit this technique and really make it more 3D. I also felt like if I had the same colors in pigment powders, that also would have worked very well, but nonetheless, I think these turned out really great. I went ahead as per usual and took some outside photos for you guys, and this is how they looked out in the sun. If you've made it this far in the video, please leave a star in the comments, then I know that you've made it this far. Hey! And also, thank you so much for being so supportive and watching and commenting. Also, please do hit the subscribe button if you haven't, and most importantly, I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are. I will see you guys really soon on the next video. Bye guys.